Well, my name is Jonathan. I will be your tour guide today for your tour of the Pike Place Market Historic District. People who live in Seattle, we keep coming back to the Pike Place Market. Even if we're not showing people from out of town around the city, it's still a great place to shop and eat in Seattle. So just a quick little history of the city of Seattle. As it relates to the Pike Place Market, go back to 1889, we had something called the Great Seattle Fire. So that started over in Pioneer Square. Pioneer Square is about miles south of where we are, a little bit closer to where the Mariners and the Seahawks have their stadiums. Also, Metallica was playing there last weekend, so it was a pretty fun atmosphere at the market. Woodworking shop caught fire there when one of the apprentices knocked over a cauldron of hot glue. You can still see that cauldron over at the Museum of History and Industry. However, the apprentice just ran away as soon as he caught the store on fire, never to return. Across the street from that shop, the bar had just received a shipment of high-proof whiskey. And the streets were made of dirt and straw at the time, so the entire city burned down in less than 24 hours. Thankfully, no one actually died in the fire. And when they were rebuilding the city, they thought, it's so nice having Seattle here with this picturesque view of Puget Sound, but it's not so cloudy, you can see the Olympic Mountains. The only issue is that when the tides come in, all the sinks and all the toilets in the city would flood completely, twice a day. And had no way to stop that from happening. So when they rebuilt the city, they thought, let's build a new city higher up on top of the old city to solve those problems. This is the oldest continually running market in the United States. There are older markets on the East Coast, but none that have run continuously without closing for long periods of time, like Pike Place Market. And I always tell people, like, if this is the only part of Seattle you visit, you're going to get a pretty good idea about our city's history and what we're all about here. And it's actually the market policy that every business in the market, it's got to be your first location. So you can't open a second location in Pike Place Market. Every day a truck is going to pull up right here super early in the morning. Comes from their farms up in Duvall, Washington. Beecher owns all of their own cows. That's very Seattle of them to do. Pumps in about 55,000 pounds of milk into that little metal door right there. Then it's going to go through these tubes where it's pasteurized at a pretty low temperature, about 163 degrees. And then into this tank. So they're going to fill this tank 4 or 5 times. Then they add rennet, which is typically the lining of a cow's stomach, though they use microbial rennet now. Causes the curdling effect. So yes, this holds 50,000 pounds of milk. And the cheese curds are going to be your first sample. So what makes it a cheese curd is basically there's just no aging whatsoever. It's a young cheddar cheese. But you're going to see the tank throughout the day filled with these huge bricks of cheese curds. They're going to dry for about 4 to 6 hours. Then they just separate them when they go right into the store. Second sample is going to be the Beecher's flagship cheddar cheese on a Beecher's cracker. So this one is aged about 15 to 18 months. They wrap their cheese in either cheesecloth or vacuum seal it. And then they have a facility over in Georgetown where they've turned into kind of a cheese cave. So that's where they age it. And Georgetown is a kind of a brewery district. All right, next sample is going to be the Beecher's macaroni and cheese featuring the flagship cheddar. A little bit of red pepper flakes, smoked paprika, in a bechamel sauce. Yeah, we don't do small samples on this tour except for maybe one place. So you will get like a meal and a half worth of food. No lines on this tour whatsoever. This is the line for the first Starbucks. So every day they grind the corn, soak the corn in mixture of water and lime, process called nixtamal, breaks down the corn and makes their tortillas super soft. I would put up their tortillas against any I've had anywhere in the U.S. So we got some carnitas here, a little pickled red onion, radish, refried beans. Almost a light reddish color, so a mix of white and red corn. All the corn, as I said, comes from Mexico, and they're all fantastic.
So this is a wild caught pink salmon that we're going to try out today. It's maple flavored, so good for breakfast time. It's basically a smoked salmon that has been dehydrated. So it's very similar to a beef jerky. It's just got that salmon flavor to it. We've got about 8 to 9 different flavors of jerky. We've got everything from the super sweet to a super savory to a super spicy. We also have what they call military style MREs. So that's going to be something like this. It's basically a packaged can. So you got about a 3 to 4 year shelf life on this guy. You can take it on the plane and it packs super easy, which is really nice. They are born in the freshwater. They travel down the stream in which they were born in and go all the way into the ocean and spend about 3 to 5 years there. They fatten themselves up and then they go back to that same stream. They don't go up any river, they go up specific rivers. So no variation there. There's 5 species that are native to the Pacific Northwest specifically. And then they'll actually go through a big giant transformation when they go from ocean phase and then go back to spawn.
Guys all happy right now with some really awesome Seattle fog. I would say fitting for the weather, but we just had sunshine come out. I know. There you are. Feel free to grab one of those. So we are a brand new shop here at Pike Place Market. We're only about a year old, but we invented cultured gelato. It is quite literally its own invention. And we do call it a gelato for scientific reasons because we don't fit within the realm to be an ice cream. But we do fit within that realm for gelato, and we're talking sugar content, air content, all the above. Now, what's really unique to our shop is we add cultures to our product. Anything cultured is going to have a slight tang, which I'm sure most of you guys are tasting right now. And we're talking kefir, sour cream, cream cheese, yogurts. They all have cultures, but you can also change kind of the strains and the blends of cultures that you're doing. For us, our founders are Greek Australian, so to bring that heritage back in here, we did do a Greek blend of cultures. Now, for our cooking process, you'll notice they are busy at work in there. So we make everything here on site, including any pints that you might go buy at Met Market. They are made here at Pike Place with a lot of love. Now, we take grade A whole milk, a little bit of heavy cream, and we're going to pasteurize that. And at the end of that pasteurization cycle, we add in those cultures we talked about. Now, cultures are going to add those protein, probiotics, that tang, but they're also going to eat away at the fat content of the milk, hence why we add some of that heavy cream so we can retain a little bit of that. And they also eat away at the sugar. We always stop on the sugar for a second because we are a gelato shop. Got to keep it sweet in here. But we add a little bit of cane sugar to our product, not very much, with a very large purpose. It is our one and only preservative.
So, best-selling item here in shop is the Truffle Queen's Truffle Salt. It's at a 10% concentration. Most truffle salts that are out there on the market claiming to be the best may come in about a 3 to 5% concentration, folks. Popcorn, french fries, tomato, avocados, scrambled eggs, anything you could use salt on and you want just that truffle.
This is New England clam chowder. So this is Pike Place Chowder's signature clam chowder. They started making this in the early 90s. Over at a place called the Charles Street Cafe over in West Seattle. So yes, the tomatoes and basil on this pizza all come from produce stands in the market, probably bought this morning. Produce stands still outnumber seafood stands 2 to 1 at Pike Place Market. I think the best way to enjoy produce is on a slice of pizza. So this comes from Pizza Pasta Bar right next door. Kind of a mix between a Neapolitan and a New York style crust. There we go. Yeah, this is Pikes Pit Barbecue right over here. You can see me interacting with my friends Jacob, Sky, Rico. Oh, that's Jace. That's Rico. What our style is basically for barbecue is that we use a lot of local trees to smoke all of the meat. So all the pork at Pikes Pit Barbecue, all their meats in general, are going to be smoked using alder trees. Alder trees grow in abundance around the Northwest. So everything you saw at Totem Smokehouse is all alderwood smoked, same at Pikes Pit Barbecue. Gives the meat a nice little sweetness in addition to the smoky flavor. Some coleslaw for you to enjoy there as well. We're in what's called the Secret Garden right now. So all the stuff that grows here, it's all donated to the food bank at Pike Place Market. It's all tended to by people who live in the market. They've been in the market for about 25 years, been a company for 40. The owner, Pam Montgomery, had a cherry orchard she bought kind of on a whim. It was the biggest one in Washington state. And every year she'd have some cherries left behind she wasn't able to harvest in time. You can see them right here. They're dried out, look kind of like raisins. If you've ever seen like an actual Rainier cherry, they're gigantic. No one wanted to buy these, but she found they were a lot sweeter and had more concentrated flavor. So after she took a trip to London, went to a store called Harrods there, and noticed they had a big chocolate-covered fruit section. She thought, why don't I bring that to Washington with my cherries? It became a huge hit, of course. So we've got 5 samples for you to try. Dried Rainier cherry on top. I would start with that one just to get an idea of what the cherry tastes like. Otherwise, the order's up to you. This one's going to be a dark chocolate cherry. That's their best seller. This one is a truffle chocolate cherry. That one's really good though. And then on the bottom is a pecan covered in milk chocolate, powdered sugar, and honey. That one's my personal favorite. They're all fantastic.